I have some reservations about it. On the face of it, it sounds like a good plan, and here's where my reservations are, though. Because of the sentiment in the House of Representatives Education Committee in particular, which is leaning toward, this is the House of Representatives Education Committee, leaning toward the idea that it's okay to completely do away with, get rid of public education. My concern is that the dual enrollment, on the face of it being good, let the kids excel who are already achieving and give them credit for being in high school. That's something I would have taken advantage of in high school. But if what that's leading to, in the police academy, what we called that was the slippery slope effect, if what that is leading to is an opportunity for the legislature to encroach upon what the Idaho Constitution requires, which is a free public education for kindergartners through 12th graders, then I am very concerned that this dual enrollment is leading us toward a path of getting rid of public education. I see public education as a part of our national defense. Public education needs to be improved, absolutely. And I've got strategies for doing that on my action plan that tie to building campus schools and creating curriculum and teaching methodologies that meet the needs of 21st century students.
Well, let's keep touching on that. What is your action plan for education? Campus schools, you mentioned, explain that a little bit
Teacher
more.
instruction is still geared largely for instructional methodologies that worked, frankly, when our parents were growing up. Very textbook based, very black and white, literally ink on paper. That is not the way 21st century students learn. They are visual, they are auditory, they are exposed every single day to more inputs than our parents' generation may experience in 1 year of living. As a result, teachers need supporting curriculum and teaching and instructional methodologies that meet these students' multi-discipline and multi-sensory needs for learning in the classroom so the kids don't get bored. The second thing that's different about students today, having volunteered in my daughter's classroom, I've lived it and gone home exhausted after a day of volunteering in the classroom, the discipline issues, the behavioral challenges that teachers face every day in the classroom are much greater than when I was in school in the 70s and you were in school in what, the 80s?
Late 90s.
No, late 90s.
24.
Okay, in the 90s. And even in the 90s, there weren't as many discipline problems as there are in the last decade. That's a challenge for teachers to then help all of the students in the classroom grow. So until teachers get greater support with their own understanding and skill set building about how to meet these students' needs, it's going to be a challenge to improve what happens in the classroom. And there's a lot of great work going on in the classroom. It's not meeting all the kids' needs, and that's where No Child Left Behind comes in. So part 2 of my plan. I have said and will focus on getting rid of No Child Left Behind in Idaho by the end of my term. And there are 2 reasons for that. The Idaho legislature, in about a decade ago when No Child Left Behind came into being under President Bush, said, well, that's such a good idea. Let's have every school in Idaho be responsible for achieving the standards of No Child Left Behind. What the Idaho legislature did not do, though, is provide funding for the non-Title I schools to get the aid and the assistance that they needed to achieve those standards, which means the state passed an unfunded mandate on the school districts that then they've had to live up to that federal mandate about what students must accomplish. Some good has come out of that, and I've heard superintendents defend that, well, some good has come out of it. However, when you talk to teachers, and as a parent with a child in the classroom, the reality is students have so many testing demands placed on them that learning isn't happening. Teaching to the test is what's having to happen. And that's not learning that allows students to mature and problem solve rather than to memorize to be prepared for a test. So No Child Left Behind. First part of my administration, I will focus on the non-Title I schools. We'll do a comprehensive study to figure out how much money did that save us that can be then put into the classroom, as I talked about earlier, and how much money then will be saved as we break away from the federal government, stand on our own when it comes to funding education in the state of Idaho as it relates to the federal mandate of No Child Left Behind. So 2-prong approach to getting rid of No Child Left Behind. We'll still have the Idaho Reading Indicator. We'll still have the math tests that are there. The progress assessment testing will still be in place, but we won't have to live up to a standard that isn't being fully funded at Idaho and is hurting our teaching experience in classrooms.
Okay.